In our very first story, the Electoral Commission has launched a 5-year strategic plan it says should make it the benchmark for elections management in Africa. The strategic plan comes with a rebranding component which will see the Commission shirk its old image. The EC at the launch formally outdoored the new logo to be used. Chairperson Charlotte Osei explained what went into the decision to settle on the new logo.
We did not open up invitations for people to send logos in because, as we explained, the logo has to represent where we're going to as a brand and as an institution. So it's not just about putting colors together. It had to represent something. We were also benchmarking internationally. We did look at logos of other electoral commissions. And it's important that we work very closely with other electoral commissions. They visit us, we look at their strategic plans, we exchange information, we study visits are always going on. So there is a process. A logo is not just an artistic competition. It has to stand for something. We went through a process, and no, my husband did not design it. He's not a graphic artist. We went through a process, and I'm not even the only one married to a graphic artist, by the way. We went through a process in terms of developing the brand and what we wanted the brand to stand for. We engaged internally. We made inquiries. We had people bring. We selected as a commission, and that's why I said we selected it and we like it.
Now, the new logo bears striking similarities with Yedi System, a Turkey-based organization. Asked about the possibility the EC may be plagiarizing, the EC chair stated the organization is free to assert its right under the law if it feels so strongly.
If the Turkish, institute?
Educational institute.
We've plagiarized their logo?
That is the claim.
Then they certainly have rights under the law. We don't feel we've plagiarized their logos. And if you look internationally, there are many logos that look alike.
But have you seen that logo, by the way?
I have. I don't think it looks like mine. I like mine better. So we like it. We are comfortable as a commission that it represents the values and the brand we want and the image we want to portray, and it supports our strategic direction.
Madam Charlotte Osei could, however, not immediately say how much the rebranding will cost the EC.
When you say branding, first there's the logo, and it's ongoing. It's not even finished. We haven't gone doing signage. We haven't done our vehicles. We usually don't even do our vehicles. I'm not sure we intend to.
But do you know how much we spent so far?
I couldn't tell you.
But those figures are there.
Sorry?
Are those figures there? Can we find out?
Of course they are there. I mean, there's a process, and people have to understand that we work within a budget. The EC is independent, but is also subject to laws. So we go through audits. We're audited by the Auditor General, and they go and they look and they make sure we've gone through right process, due process. We've spent within budget. We don't just have unlimited funds. And a lot of the reform process going on is also supported by donors, because donors have been working with us and trying to help us ensure that we finish the internal reforms, because we keep putting electoral reforms on top of the same structure. The structure must support the reforms and the things, how you're carrying your mandates. And so there's a lot of donor support for the internal reforms that are going on.
Right, the EC's brand new website, which is also live now, has, among other things, a countdown to the 2016 election. And I'll go to the website right now. When you get to the website the very first time, you have these running. So they have 26,906 polling stations, 25 political parties, and the number of registered voters not showing exactly very well here. And then it says 194 days to the election. And it lists several other things on its website, on this brand new website. But then it also gives you the opportunity to download the strategic plan of the Electoral Commission. And that's here. It says Gearing for Greatness. And I'll quickly go to the 5 pillars that the Electoral Commission has been talking about as part of its strategic plan. It says the challenge. During the current situational and environmental analysis, it was determined that there were a number of issues facing the Commission which affected the Commission's ability to efficiently deliver on its mandate and its vision to be world-class, trusted and independent. So here are the 5 pillars. Our mandate, our focus must be on the organized and effective delivery of our mandate as defined by the Constitution and other laws. 2, people. Whilst the EC acknowledges strong loyalty amongst its staff, it has over time, with the limited resources available to it, not been able to significantly support and train staff members. Many, whilst demonstrating a readiness to deliver, lack sufficient training and skills to support the future requirements of the Commission. And 3, it talks about resources. As in an organization as geographically dispersed as the EC with both full-time and part-time staff, there has over time been a defocus on resource optimization. There is a need to efficiently use available resources and leverage synergies across partners and the whole Commission. 4 processes. In order to move forward, the Commission will have to deploy significant technology to drive process automation and with it, resource optimization. And then our brand, while the Commission brand recognition is strong, it needs to be strengthened. Our ability to communicate effectively has been challenged by the lack of adequate resources and effective use of available resources. So there you would have it, all stated there. Talks about their strategic pillars and a whole lot more. You can get to the website and get to see those things for yourself. But the Deputy General Secretary of the ruling National Democratic Congress, Koko Anyedo, has meanwhile commended the current EC chairperson for continuing processes started by his predecessor, Dr. Farijan. He also dismissed suggestions the EC's rebranding is not a priority.
I think it's interesting because if you look at what happened during the 8-month period we were in the Supreme Court, the story was quite clear that if the EC had its own legal department, a lot of the things would have been homegrown rather than trying to look for external legal brains who sometimes themselves do not understand the nitty-gritties of the electoral process. So if you now have a legal department that is there on a 24-hour basis and understands the voting process, the electoral process from day one to the end, I think it makes more sense in terms of the EC having legal grounding. And I think that it's part of the innovation that I think we must commend the EC for spelling out today.
And you seem to agree with the justification that the chairperson of the EC has given concerning their new logo. But the argument is that, especially with a few months to a critical election like this, the EC has a lot of it on its hands, and this is certainly a misplacement of priority. Well,
Afre, the arguments will fly on so many wings. Some may be low, some may be high, but c'est la vie, such is it. But today's interaction has made it clear that it's not about the logo. The EC has not spent all its time on a logo. It has spent its time. And the interesting thing is that it's a continuous process that was begun by Dr. Farijan. It's not Charlotte Osei that just, worked it around the neck of the EC. It's a continuous process of giving new vision, new strategy, like I said, employing new media, employing new technology, and the logo only happens to be a subset of the whole new vision, the whole new image of the EC. Somehow, political opponents took the logo and tried to throw it out in the public domain and create the impression that Charlotte Osei and the EC are spending all their time changing a logo. But it's obvious today that the logo is only a subset of a whole new process of giving new meaning and new image to the EC. So let's be fair to the EC.
Now, the founder and leader of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, says the Electoral Commission has to look beyond the 5-year strategic plan and do more if it is to organize a credible election come November 7. Speaking on the polls, the APC leader alleged some officers of the commission rigged the PNC presidential primary to favor the eventual winner, Dr. Edward Mahama, and that unless those elements are removed, they could cause chaos in the upcoming presidential and parliamentary election.
I wanted to change the constitution at the Congress to make sure that the flag bearer becomes the leader of the party so that he now has the power to change a lot of things.
Because there are some who would say that this decision to create a new party was because you did not win the nod for the PNC, and so because you want to be president at all costs, you decided to create your own party.
That's why I said that Electoral Commission has a lot of things to do, and that's part of why I told you that in the last elections, there are a lot of things that happened. People won elections, and it was turned over for others.
Are you saying you won the election in 2012?
I won the election in the PNC flag bearership. I won the elections.
You said you won the 2012 election?
No, PNC flag bearership. I won the elections.
You mean the last Congress?
The last Congress, I won the elections. But things were turned for it because I won the first box. We had 4 boxes. One box I won, the first box, which was made of Ashanti Volta. I won. The second box was made up of BA, Greater Accra, and Eastern. I won. The third box was made up of Western Region and Upper West. I won. Now the last box was made of Upper East, Northern Region, and BA. And someone wins that particular box, and you won all the bigger regions, and the person becomes a parliamentary flag bearer. How possible is that? That was what happened. Today I'm talking just because I feel like talking. But that was exactly what happened, because you're talking about the EC. And these are the things that they need to change. And these are the things that they need to look at. Very important, because this could have caused chaos. My people wanted to fight, and I said, don't fight.
Right, so that was the leader of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga. Staying with the Electoral Commission, I just want us to go quickly to the outcomes of their strategic objectives, which they've stated on their website. So for them, they're saying objective 1, ensure that our mandate is delivered and managed legally, transparently, and fairly. 2, ensure EC is legally and functionally independent, and develop and maintain a relationship of trust and credibility with citizens, parties, state institutions, and other stakeholders, and then ensure that the EC operates efficiently, effectively, and to world-class standards. These are some of the outcomes of the strategic objectives of the Electoral Commission as stated on their website. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have more from the Electoral Commission's launch of the strategic plan today. Stay tuned. For the Electoral Commission to clean the current voters register to ensure that Ghana has a credible elections in November 2016. The EC has largely remained silent, even when pushed and accused by some political parties and pressure groups. At Tuesday's forum, the chairperson of the commission have revealed it is using collaborative efforts at all levels to clean the register, despite the case pending before the Supreme Court.
There is agreement at IPAC as to the process and the mechanisms for auditing and cleaning of the register. However, there are also cases pending at the Supreme Court. So in spite of the agreements at IPAC, we cannot go ahead and finalize those agreements or implement them. And we're even going to implement them during the exhibition period. That's what was agreed at IPAC. But we have to await the outcome of the Supreme Court cases. It's respectful and it is proper. When the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement, then we can finalize at IPAC. But at the IPAC level, we've engaged extensively. They know the process we want to adopt. They have agreed that those processes make sense, because we also have to look at the challenges perceived or real with the register. And you must make sure that the processes you're putting in place address those specific challenges, which brings to the question of 500,000 names, 600,000 names on the register that need to be deleted. If we knew, that would be so much easier, because it would mean that we have the evidence. I cannot tell you how many. It's a register of over 14 million people currently. None of us here can tell you that we have 100,000 deceased persons on the register. I don't know that. It's only when people bring evidence to the centers that this family member has passed on, this is the evidence of the death. Then we can take that evidence, and based on that evidence, we can now say we're removing the names of deceased persons off the register.
In reaction to the efforts the EC claims to be making ensuring that the country has a credible election, the Let My Vote Count Alliance says the Electoral Commission cannot be trusted. Spokesperson of the alliance, Ibrahim Ejay, speaking on the poll, says his group is skeptical about what the EC intends to do.
the EC, as Charlotte Essay said, was that their mandate is to make sure that they execute their mandate as per the Constitution, and she referred to it. And that mandate is to have free, fair, and credible elections. And it beggars belief that, having said that, the same thing that Dr. Farijan said in 1992, so it's nothing new. But why did it strike a chord with me, and I think for many Ghanaians? Because you can see a disconnect between what she's proposing or saying and the reality on the ground in terms of free, fair, and credible elections.
Why is that?
I mean, you've had, in fact, disputes over the election machinery, whereby, for example, in the Supreme Court, Dr. Farijan was asked for the discrepancy between the presidential and parliamentary elections in 2012. And he said that, oh, we can account for those votes by over in excess of, I think, 432,000 overseas. And Justice Atugaba then invited Dr. Farijan to come into the Supreme Court, you recall, in August 2013, to in fact give the evidence to that. And he brought out of 432,000 names that purportedly had been voted overseas, 772 names, less than 1,000. So in terms of the credibility of the EC, it is rock bottom where Ghanaians, and I'm sure others, are concerned.
Now, as part of the strategic plan of the Electoral Commission, it intends to set up a legal department. The research fellow of the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC, Dr. Kwesi Jonah, feels setting up a legal department within the Electoral Commission is commendable.
The rationale behind the strategic plan, every donor that you go to ask for help wants to know your plans for over a certain period. A donor does not just give money. A donor will give money because you have planned a number of activities over a certain period. And so donor after donor kept asking, what is your plan? The last plan for the EC ended some years ago, and the new one has not been done. So donor after donor kept asking, and I'm very happy that with the support of the UNDP, they have now finally been able to design a 5-year development plan which will cover both this election and the next election.
And one of the key issues that the Electoral Commission mentioned was that their intention to, in fact, have their own legal department. Over the years, this has been one discussion that the Electoral Commission does not have its own legal department. They usually go outside and engage private legal practitioners. How key do you think this will be to the operations of the EC?
I am very happy that the EC has finally decided to have its own legal department. A lot of the work the EC does has legal implications. And so what the EC needs first and foremost is a small but efficient legal department manned by young as well as experienced lawyers so that everything they do, the legal implications are known. Over the years, the EC has relied on retainership. They have retained a lawyer who offers the services for a fee. This, in my opinion, is not good enough. It is time for the EC to have its own legal department, and I'm very happy that under this strategic plan, they are now going to operate such a department.
The matter relating to their logo and the decision to change has generated a lot of controversy, but Chairperson Charlotte Essay has justified it.
No, the explanation she gave is very good. They have had to remove the coat of arms of Ghana to reinforce the independence of the Commission. The Commission is not under government, and so there's no need to keep the coat of arms of Ghana there. And then the new logo that they have adopted, I mean, if you listen to the explanation, it entails inclusiveness of all Ghanaians in the election process. You look at the arrows pointing to the center of the logo. I think before this explanation, many of us had asked questions. After this explanation has been given, many people will now understand.
Inspector General of Police John Kodalo has cautioned police personnel to avoid aligning with political parties, especially in the run-up to the November general elections. Addressing officers in the Upper West Regional Capital, WA, he warned anyone found in breach shall be severely punished. He denied rumors the Ghana Police Service is recruiting, but explained online recruitment will begin in the next few weeks. Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The aim of the two-day tour of the Upper West Region by the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, John Kodalo, is to make the region as well as other regions well prepared in terms of trained personnel and logistics for the upcoming elections. It is also aimed at instituting proactive measures to prevent recurrence of violence during the elections. Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Kwesimensa Duku, expressed concern about the number of personnel of the service in the region. The Upper West region currently has a staff strength of 1,024. DCOP Kwesimensa Duku stated that with the creation of new districts, divisions and units, the current staff strength is not enough for effective policing.
Lack of personnel within the inspectorate rank and SOs, specifically sergeants, is a challenge. Consequently, a good number of the police stations are manned by junior NCOs. It is hereby requested that more NCOs, inspectors are posted to the Upper West region as a matter of urgency to fill the shortfall.
A more worrying development is the lack of senior police women in the region.
At the moment, we have only one female police officer with the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police. There is no policewoman in the inspectorate rank, and only one female sergeant, and with a few female corporals. About 95% of policemen in the region are constables and lance corporals. This undermines effective supervision and discharge of police duties in the region.
Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, John Kodalo, cautioned personnel against taking partisan positions, particularly the November general elections. He asked personnel of the service to be fair and firm in the discharge of their duties.
I don't think people having their very committed that's so again, it's bad, it's bad. It doesn't matter from who it's coming from. Whether it's from A or B or C, you as policemen are the same to one, fair and equal to the task. But not showing any partiality in the start of the duties. This is the only way that we can ensure a cohesive nation. Any personnel from people shall be severely disciplined by the police administration. That's the design. Professionalism is and should be our only motivation.
IGP Kodalo also used the opportunity to debunk rumors of recruitment of personnel undertaken by the police administration.
There's no recruitment going on now. If your relatives down to consult with the election going on now, it will come out very soon. I'm sure that this weekend or my next weekend, the average will come to the but this time we are going to do what? E-recruitment. I don't be able to take anybody to the service. Likewise, any of us here, that is not services, nobody. It's the machine will talk. E-recruitment. The machine will talk. You have to come to the machine. If the machine says they are taking you, then that's it. Continue from there.
Earlier, he was at the Nasiri Bomb the second park to witness firsthand personnel of the service demonstrate their readiness to combat righteous demonstrators during a rout and crowd control simulation exercise. Reporting for J News, Rafiq Salam. Wah.
Watching Joy News Prime, still to come in the bulletin. Former Transport Minister Jifar Tivo, who resigned over the controversial 3.6 million cedi bus branding saga, is urging residents of the Volta region to vote massively for the National Democratic Congress so she would not be jailed by an NPP administration. And then we also have business coming up right after the break. Please stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit.
Other stories. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Nashiru Isahaku, says there are conscious efforts to build appropriate credit infrastructure of banks to enable them extend adequate credit to small and medium-scale enterprises. SME financing for some time now has been a major setback to the development of the industry. Speaking at the maiden SME financing fair, his first public engagement after he was sworn into office yesterday, the central bank governor re-emphasized his primary focus as new governor would be to check the rising inflation.
The specific issue about the cost of SME financing. There are two broad types of factors that often influence these. The first includes macroeconomic conditions such as rising inflation and depreciation of the cedi, the infamous depreciation of the cedi. This underscores our commitment to stabilize the economy, which would have a direct effect on lowering the cost of financing. The mandate of the central bank primarily is to stabilize prices, keep stable and low inflation. As you recall what happened in Zimbabwe, and for those of you who know a little bit about economic history, Germany, hyperinflation. Whatever we do when the economy is not stable, when inflation is very high, everything falls apart. So the fundamental thing to do first and foremost is to make sure that you have a stable macroeconomy, and then all else may fall in place, which means I use may because there are other things to do. From our standpoint as a central bank, when inflation comes down, in the end, it pulls down interest rates and reduces the cost of financing. That how many of you are patient enough to have to wait? Well, we recognize that, and that's my primary focus, me as a governor and the bank and the central bank, is to make sure that we bring down inflation and interest rates. But that takes some time.
The two-day SME financing fair organized by government is being held under the theme SME Financing in Ghana, Enhancing Access and Reducing Costs. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture is stepping up efforts to fight the export of substandard crops from the country. Crops from Ghana have consistently been found to be of low quality, a situation that led to the banning of some 5 vegetable varieties from the EU market. Agric Minister Mohamed Muniru Nimuna tells Joy Business government is working hard to ensure the integrity of the exports is not compromised.
As we support the farmer to produce, you need to also support those down the value chain. If I produce soya beans and I don't support Agricare or Vesta to expand, to absorb the soya that I produce, it means I have problems with the post-harvest. So we support everybody along the chain, from the fertilizer or the input supplier through the production. And as I did indicate, about 70% of the total loans or investment facilitated in the rice, maize and soya value chain went into input suppliers processing as well as the farmer who is producing. So just 3 of them among the lots in the value chain actually absorb about 70% of the $85 million that we facilitated over the last 2.5 years. So we are actually supporting production alongside other activities within the chain.
We sincerely apologize for the wrong insert there. We'll bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins. And still in business, President of the Ghana-Canada Chamber of Commerce, Salah Kalmoni, has emphasized the country must enhance its competitive advantage potential in international trade to make maximum economic gains. This, he noted, could transform Ghana into a trade hub within the sub-region. Speaking at the Ghana-Canada Chamber of Commerce Power Breakfast, the president of the chamber, Salah Kalmoni, told Joy Business the nation's tropical food sector, for instance, is one viable area that can be enhanced to boost international trade.
In Ghana as a country, we are maturing. We no longer a developing country. We have reached middle class status, and that's where we need more trade. And when you do more trade, then you can go to the next level. Yes. The most, I think, sector which works very well is the tropical industry, which is the farming. We're talking about cashew nuts. We are talking about cocoa, pawpaw. Now, cocoa, we already do it, all the pineapple, all these ones, we can process them. We need to have our competitive advantage. And being a tropical country, we can throw tropical plants and export them. But before we export them, we need to process them. So this is some of the things where we can export. That's our core competence.
John Kojo has just joined me with the updates of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Yes, what's up for markets?
You know, I did tell you that yesterday was a very good beginning for the market. And indeed, it actually happened the way we projected. As today, the market did see almost around 2,241,112 Ghana cedis today at a total value of about 6,426,000. I think this is the first time ever this particular year the market has seen such level of activity in terms of volumes and values. It's quite unprecedented this particular year. The reason being that, check it, you know, at a point in time, GCB was actually losing value. Okay? Yeah. And then, you know, like I was saying, the market people are really monitoring. They listen to us. So as and when the market actually goes down, some figures, some equities do go down in terms of value. Then they cash in to buy at a low price. Immediately rises, they sell, and they make a lot more money. That's exactly what happened. So there was a block trade against some of these equities or shares, and that's exactly what happened. So basically, today the market saw a lot of higher volumes, but then it was not enough to actually move the market capitalization. It's still wallowing, but it was able to actually reduce it. If you compare yesterday's and then today's, was only able to actually move the market cap just a bit up by only 4 basis points, basically. Okay. That's, for only 4 basis points. That's how it is. So for today, I think the market has seen a lot better activity and all. But these were the top 3 movers of the market. Out of the top 3, 2 actually lost, but the only one that gained happens to be the GCB, which has, previously lost almost on 2 occasions. Yeah. One, it lost about 13 pesos, and one, it did lose about 11 pesos. But today, it's actually gained 7. These are some of the things we talk about, so people should actually pay attention. Mm-hmm. The market can make you money, even though it may deduct some money from you, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's how it is. Now, on the commodities market, as we speak, crude is trading at $45.70 per barrel after adding on $1.21 to it. Basically, China is actually recovering, and as such, it's actually going back to get some more oil to fuel its activities at the private sector base. That's exactly what is happening. So we hope it's actually going to see that much of it. So when the next quarter of Chinese, the numbers do come, and indeed it happens that it's still positive, we're going to see oil price actually increase, as China happens to be one of the largest consumers of oil here in Ghana. Gold also did gain about $40 today. So now gold is trading around 1,242 per ounce, as cocoa gained 44. You know, these 2 commodities has been actually losing over the period if you actually be monitoring the market. Yeah. So that's exactly what is happening. Yeah. So the demand pressures were they're actually gaining. But as to whether tomorrow we see the same thing, we don't really know, because the derivative market, which actually prices these items, are very complex and controversial. You never know. All right, so let's look at the currencies. The CD is still very strong against the United States dollar. For the past almost 2 weeks, it's actually maintained that momentum. So it is still gaining that. Today, as it actually gained marginally, but it's still unable to actually find its feet against the British pound and the euro. So it's still, we still want to see when that recovery process will actually start. But against the Chinese one, and for the first time in almost about a month, it has actually gained against the CFA. So basically, we are seeing some recovery and some good news actually coming. We hope it will be sustained and maintained over the period. So I think today, good news for the market.
All right, thank you very much. John Kojo, stock market analyst, ending tonight's business. My name is emmanuel.atani. Good evening.
You're welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, former Transport Minister Jifar Tivo has asked the people of the Volta region to ensure they vote massively for the National Democratic Congress to prevent a situation where she and other others in government would be persecuted by the next New Patriotic Party administration. Addressing party faithful at the launch of a pro-NDC group in the region, she stated their vote for the NDC is what could save her from ending up in jail. The former transport minister, who resigned over the controversial 3.6 million cedi bus branding saga, also urged the people to encourage their relatives in neighboring Togo to take advantage of the upcoming limited voter registration exercise.
The groups have pledged to work and increase President Mahama's vote in the Ketu South constituency from 85,000 in 2012 to 120,000 votes in the 2016 general elections. Jifa Ativo, who resigned her post as Minister of Transport following the Metro Mass Transit bus branding saga, explained that during the Kufuor regime, some ministers who served under the Rawlings administration were imprisoned, most of whom were Ibis. She fears the situation might reoccur if the NPP wins the 2016 elections and pleaded with party faithful not to allow the NPP come to power. Mrs. Ativo was also astonished as to why the NPP organizes fundraising for its members abroad but finds it difficult to accept that the NDC also has members in Togo whom they tag as foreigners. She, however, implored NDC sympathizers in the Ketu South constituency to inform their relatives living in Togo to come back home and register during the limited voter registration exercise so they can vote massively for the NDC in the November 7th elections.
The NPP has planned to feed the voter region with lies. But I want to tell the NPP that the agenda of peddling lies will not materialize in the region. We, the people of the Volta region, will forever remain members of the NDC. When the NPP won power in 2001, most ministers who are Ewes were imprisoned, including Salome, Abodaki, and a host of other ministers. Does that mean no individual from any other tribe has faltered in the discharge of their duties? I want to remind you that it is your votes that will decide if Fifi Kwete and I will be prosecuted and put behind bars or not. Do well to inform your relatives living in Togo to come and register during the limited voter registration exercise so they can vote for Fifi Kwete and John Mahama.
The Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Fifi Kwete, labelled the MPP as an evil party and accused them of spending 6 years in power without constructing a major road in the country. He advised Ghanaians to reject such a party which comes to government and spends the country's resources without undertaking development projects.
From 2001 to 2006, NPP could not construct one major road in Ghana. Not one. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. Not one major road in the whole of Ghana did NPP construct. The first road NPP constructed was the Accra-Caicos Road, and that came at the end of 2006. 6 long years before they could construct one road. And this party dares want to come to power to come and do what? Over Doka. A party that spent 6 years before you can construct one major road for Ghana. And you can compare yourself with John Mahama. John Mahama roads are being constructed like confetti.
Fifi Kwete, who doubles as the transport minister, emphasized that there would be enormous resources available for the country in 2017, which would be used to facilitate development projects in the country. He appealed to people in his constituency to ensure President Mahama gets a second term to enable him accomplish his developmental agenda.
On November 70, let's come out in our numbers. Ketu South in Ghana, Ghanaians who are in Togo, who are members of our family there, we make sure they are here. Ghanaians
from Ghana who are in Benin, make sure they are here. Come out in our numbers and make sure, buddy, when the 120,000 vote drop, Nana Akufo-Addo has retired forever.
The Volta Regional NDC Chairman John Kwejo Japon, who launched the Ketu South for Fifi and Mahama or Kasfirm Group, charged 8 executives to collaborate with constituency and regional executives to ensure the GAB 1 million agenda in the region is accomplished. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Up next, we bring you international news. All right, so let me just bring you a quick recap of our top stories before we go on to the rest of our stories. The Electoral Commission has gone ahead to unveil a controversial logo and launched a 5-year strategic plan to make it the benchmark for election management in Africa. The EC, meanwhile, says it is holding on with implementation of agreed reforms until the determination of pending court cases likely to affect them. The Inspector General of Police has cautioned personnel not to align themselves to political parties, warning they will be severely sanctioned if found culpable. The new central bank governor says efforts are underway to improve banks' infrastructure to enable them to finance SMEs. And the former Transport Minister Jifar Tivo, who resigned over the controversial 3.6 million cedi bus branding saga, is urging residents of the Volta region to vote massively for the National Democratic Congress so she would not be jailed by an MPP administration. Now, the Ghana Integrity Initiative is stepping up efforts to ensure the public has unlimited access to public information. The initiative has identified political, finance and procurement as a major risk to free flow of public information. Speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of a workshop organized by Transparency International to promote transparency in the defense sector, Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Linda Ofori-Kwafo, says Parliament must also examine its oversight roles critically.
Looking at how to reduce and eliminate all forms of limitations that prevent us, the public, from getting the necessary information that we need. We are actually looking at what risk exists. So far as corruption is concerned when it comes to the dealings in the defense sector. And we actually looked at it in the area of political, personnel, finance, procurement, about 5 indicators in all. So we are looking at what measures can be put in place to minimize any kind of risk associated with corruption, so far as their work as a...
Meanwhile, Senior Advisor at Transparency International, Sir Stuart Eldon, says Ghana, like other countries, is weak in areas such as transparency of defense budgets and procurement, as well as parliamentary oversight.
Whereas at the top of the league table in the continent, there's still some way to go. And what we hope to be able to do today is to be able to discuss with prominent Ghanaian military, defense and other officials their ideas for concrete initiatives to make things a little bit better. There's always room for improvement. The UK, for example, went up a band from the last index to this current index. You're in the top 7, all of whom are based in band D. Now, Ghana's strengths, and I'm not surprised at this, I know Ghana well, but are in a strong attachment to the rule of law, a strong attachment to good personnel systems in the armed forces, and very, very good ways of managing pay and other things. Where countries are weaker, and this is not just Ghana, is in areas like transparency in procurement, the issue of parliamentary oversight. And when we were here earlier this year, we took part in a session with the Joint Parliamentary Committee on the Interior and Defence, sponsored by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. So there are issues about parliamentary oversight, there are issues about the transparency of defence budgets, and a new thing really, in that it's become increasingly clear that in the new era of peacekeeping operations, corruption is becoming an increasingly important factor as contingents deploy.
Now, the Cooper Union, a U.S.-based charity organization, has provided 25 locally manufactured solar lamps to residents of Nitauta, a farming community in the Akachi North district of the Volta region. It follows a Joy News documentary which highlighted how the lack of electricity was negatively impacting the lives of the people. Joseph Upoku Gakpo's Jungle Poor documentary was aired a few weeks ago.
This is Nitauta, a community where impoverished lifestyle is quite high. Residents depend solely on small incomes from their farms. The community lacks some basic amenities, including health center, sanitary facilities, electricity, and a good access road. The most challenging situation for residents is the unavailability of electricity. Darkness takes over the community at night, making it difficult for residents to move around and pupils to study. Though some pupils use kerosene lanterns to learn, they have complained about the impact of the smoke on their eyes. That notwithstanding, some of the pupils have been able to assemble their own lighting system using dry cells, wires and touch bulbs, which is not bright enough for that purpose. Nevertheless, there is a new dawn in Nitauta. An electrical engineer, Professor Todd Kambabach, and his team have provided the community with 25 locally manufactured solar lamps. The package includes a charging station plus mobile phone charging spot. The team spent 2 days in the community to install a solar panel to augment the system. Some members of the community were also trained to help with manufacturing of the solar lamps. He commended the DCE, James Gunu, for convincing him in making his dream of lighting the middle of nowhere a reality.
We wanted to put in a new system outside the Upper West. And as chance had it, my colleague Dr. Akoli had seen the previous documentary on Joy News, and so that's what got him into contact with the DCE. So the first day I was in Ghana, we came here and we went to Nitabutu, and personally I was very impressed with the energy of the DCE. You know, we were building a new system in a region where we'd never been before, and so we knew we'd need the support of somebody strong. So in a way, that's why we're here. I would have to say it's probably because of an energetic DCE and the previous documentary on Joy News.
Some of the residents shared their sentiments with Joy News.
It will help the school children a lot because those days, when they want to learn, they only buy this thing, kerosene, before they put it into that's the natural lamp. But in this time, how they bring this light for us, it will help the school children to learn properly so that the education too can promote.
When I come back from school, when the sun goes down or it is dark, I don't have any light to learn. So I just do this thing, fix my bad case. So I thank Professor that he has given us this solar light to learn.
Now, pupils have the benefit of gathering around the solar lamp at night after their mothers have finished using the lamps to cook. The long-term plan is to connect Nitauta and another 21 communities selected in the Akachi North district to the national electricity grid. Fred Kwame Asari's report from the Volta region.
Up next, Ms. G will join me for entertainment. Right, Ms. G is here. Good evening to you, Ms. G.
Good evening, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you're looking lovely as usual.
Oh, thank you.
What's
Coming
up?
Okay, lots coming up. So today is 26th of April.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know. You tell me.
I told you last week that something was going to happen on the 26th of April. You don't remember?
Okay, I forgot. Sorry.
Okay. So Reggie and Bolly are arriving tonight.
Okay.
Yes, Reggie and Bolly are arriving tonight.
To shoot their music video.
Yeah, to shoot their music video. They'll be in town for 4 days, you know. And so...
are you bringing them on the show?
Well, we're already at the airport, you know, trying to get them for an exclusive. So we have pictures already of the atmosphere as we speak at the airport, and a video
so
as well.
People there who are eager
Lots of people waiting for Reggie and Boli.
Oh wow!
Yes. I hear parents of Reggie and Boli, that's Screwface in the shot with Doreen View, and they're there. Some other musicians are there as well, and I hear there are lots of guys from Nima, you know, singing, you know, and chanting Reggie and Boli.
Do you have a base in Nima?
Well, they're Dansuman boys, but you know they have fans all around Ghana, so I'm sure that's why the Nima boys are there, or the Nima guys are there to support them. So people waiting to see Reggie and Boli. They have arrived though, but I hear that they're yet to check out.
Okay,
you know,
so they're going through,
yes.
You know, immigration, I guess.
I think so as well. So, and then that's the video.
Okay, quite a welcome. Quite a welcome for the boys.
Yeah, so Reggie and Boli are in town. So hopefully.
But I bet if they hadn't been to.
Oh, okay, the X Factor.
Yeah, I didn't mean to the X Factor.
Okay, they'll just come and then nobody will notice them, you know. It happens, you know. So, so we can't wait to see them.
This is a grand welcome.
It is a grand welcome, yeah. And we're hoping to have some exclusives from them and also have them pass through some of our shows, including the segment, you know.
Yeah, we should bring them on set.
Sure. So it's Reggie and Boli in Ghana. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about Nyodwe Mensah. You know, yesterday I said to you that the minister had announced that the president
was going to take up.
Ghanaians are already talking. Why wait for the body? Why wait for the man to die before you decide to support him? Well, apparently we didn't know something. The president supported him way before and even when he was traveling. And also the question about why the ministry didn't do anything for William Ado. Yes, I know you remember William Ado, the man who had a problem with his eye. The minister has been speaking about William Ado and also, of course, Samuel Nyodwe Mensah.
The case of Mr. Nyodwe Mensah, when he was sick, you know, when somebody is sick and you give financial support, you don't come on TV and say that we gave A and B and C. And you see, the family will not deny the fact that the late Nyodwe Mensah got financial assistance from the president. My chief director and I personally gave the money to him. And so the government helped. It's not that he's dead and now the president is bringing the body. When he was going, the president gave him money to support his medical treatment. William Ado was seeking help from the ministry, and before we could even prepare, I think an FM station paid for it. The idea of seeking for money is not to enrich him, it's to pay for a certain bill. If he's been taken care of, we don't think we have to pay that same amount again.
All right, so this is the minister giving us this information. What was the reaction of the family?
Oh, Israel. The family, they are excited that the body is coming home. That's what is past is past. They can be, you know, what do you want them to say?
Okay, so
that, oh no, he didn't, oh, Israel, then the body won't come again. The body will not come. The body will remain in China. No, for now, we are interested in the body. When the body arrives, we hear people talk.
So you mean for now, even if they
don't know
whatever
anything
was said is not true,
let us have our body first. When we are done the barrier.
Oh no, but you know, you never know. You should ask them. You can ask the family. Ask the family. Is it true that you
Israel,
guys
I'm asking you. What you have said is a lie. You tell me. At this point in time, when you don't have money to bring your corpse, and somebody say, "I will bring it for you," just keep quiet. What will you do?
Wow.
Anyway, so we can't wait to have the body back in Ghana, and then after the barrier, we'll probe some more. All right. So the issue about Ghanaians not being able to shoot historical movies has been on and on and on. You know, people have said it was props, issues of props. People say funding and all that. So we put 3 actors together. So we are going to hear voices of Shirley Frimpong Manso, Kofi Ajololo, and then Eko Smith Asante. They all have divergent views on the issue.
Only be ready if we have the infrastructure. We need a studio. We need a good sound studio to be able to do a period movie. Okay, if you want to reenact 1957, where are you going to do it? On what street? On Oxford Street? You need a studio space to be able to reenact 1957. You need the right cars. You need the right costume. You know, it would take a lot of money. So people say, you don't do any of our stories and stuff like that. It is I don't want to do a story about Nkrumah or a story about Rawlings 1979 and do a mediocre kind of thing. Look at what Hollywood does. It's a lot of money. You do it, you do it well. I like to tell a story about Yasanto and stuff like that, but you can only be able to reenact these things in the confines of a sound studio where you can build anything, you can create anything. Over there, you can create the streets, you know, like it was in 1957. You can put the right cars on the street, you can do the costume, and then you can have the peace of mind and do the right thing.
We're ready way back. We have the props. We have it. It's just the funds that we don't have. Props won't be a problem. I don't think so. We have great property people in the country who can provide everything we want. When we go to our museums, they have it. So what are we talking about? So it's the funds. It's the funds and the great storyline and then the push.
Oh, we are far too ready for such things. I mean, so if, this question you just asked me is very ambiguous. Very, very ambiguous. I mean, there's nothing like being ready for historical movies. Every country must have historical movies. Even apart from movies, every country has to have historical documentaries, you know that. So what do you think has stalled us all these years? Well, I would rather say maybe because of funds. Yeah, because historical movies are very high budgeted film movies or that sort of thing. The productions need money. So without the money, we can do it. And that's where we have always asked government to come into, you know, to help us with funds.
There are people who are saying that it's a diss track, but if it's a diss track, I'm seeing Jay-Z somewhere in there. Why would Beyonce do a diss track?
Well, it's because Beyonce said it's a story of her life, you know, and she's been talking about somebody coming home at 3 a.m., you know, lying to her and, you know, all that. And who else can anybody think of than the person closest to her?
Okay, so are we expecting, or can we expect Jay-Z to also do a diss track?
No, but the thing that happened at the end of one of the songs, she actually says, I give you a second life or something. You know, I give you life. And so you're forgiving. Something to say. And so then like she hugs Jay-Z. And more reason why people are talking about it, you know. So the whole album Lemonade is being talked about because in a particular song she talks more about Jay-Z, things that have to do with infidelity. Yeah. And who else can we link it to? Surely when you hug your husband at the end of it, you know, everybody would think that he's the one you're talking about. It.
Right.
Okay.
They're getting along, so we're happy.
Yeah. You know, it's just to spark controversy, get us talking about it. And we are. All right. So before I go, ever thought of Ayari Girl as a rapper?
Well, no, I didn't until today.
Okay, until today. So if you haven't seen the Ayari Gate rap of APC presidential candidate.
Okay, give me the music, please.
No. I mean, rappers can do this without it. I mean, you can just give me a line.
This is not the time to do it, but as we're talking about, everything we do it today for tomorrow against the days, and the days are coming. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that Ghana is the best place for us. Ayariga is #1. Vote for Ayariga. He's going to be the good president of Ghana.
Oh, that's a rap from Hassan Ayariga today.
We must find some beats to put underneath it.
Israel. When I was 3 years, I used to be a rapper.
You too?
3 years old.
Okay, so rap something.
Oh, give me a beat.
Oh, please, don't do this beat thing.
When I was 3 years, I used to rap. And I'm telling you today that I was a rapper. And you're telling me that you won't give me beats. Why are you doing that to me, Israel? Okay, on that note, that's it for entertainment. I'm a rapper, you know. 3 years.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss G. You've redeemed yourself.
Hey.
I'll just let you go. I mean, but...
because you cannot rap.
The viewers will be
the better judges.
The viewers will be the better judges. Thank you very much, Ms. G, for bringing us entertainment. Up next, we have sports and Champions League action is coming up. We'll be getting to Gary to give us the very latest. Stay tuned. That'll be all for the bulletin. Before we go, do a quick run through our top stories. The Electoral Commission has gone ahead to unveil its controversial logo and launched a 5-year strategic plan to make it the benchmark for election management in Africa. The EC, meanwhile, says it is holding on with the implementation of the agreed reforms until the determination of pending court case is likely to affect them. The Inspector General of Police has cautioned personnel not to align themselves to political parties, warning they would be severely sanctioned if found culpable. The new central bank governor says efforts are underway to improve banks' infrastructure to enable them to finance SMEs. And former Transport Minister Jifra Ativo, who resigned over the controversial 3.6 million cedi bus branding saga, has urged residents of the Volta region to vote massively for the National Democratic Congress so she would not be jailed by an NPP administration. And that's it. For more news, so you can log on to myjournalonline.com. My name is Atani Delali, and on behalf of the team, I wish you a good night.